Yeah, that's
because at the timing is not quite right. So he puts a digital filter on the loop, he calls it.
yeah.
My name is George. My name is Alan. And for our project, we decided to create a 4x4x4 LED cube. And I think like just the hardware of this project turned out to be, I think, the challenging part. It was a very tedious and long task, just because there's a lot of soldering to do, and then we just wanted to maintain the structure of the cube. We started off with 64 LEDs, green LEDs, and our first step was just bending the cathode leg of each LED, because we wanted the LEDs at a 90-degree angle so that we could form our layers. So after we had our 64 LEDs that were bent, we separated the LEDs into 4 LEDs, which allowed us to create 16 rows of 4 LEDs each, and then we soldered the cathode legs. And after that, we took 2 insulated wires per layer, uninsulated wires per layer, and then we were able to solder 4 of the rows to form just 1 layer of our cube. So then with this, we had 16 anode legs, and then when we did the same for the other 3 layers and just the rest of the 64 LEDs, we ended up with 4 layers here. After this step, we decided to solder just the anode legs together, which would lead to this structure over here. And so after we had this structure, we had 16 anode legs, and then because each layer had a common cathode that was connected, we decided to add an additional 4 uninsulated wires, and that was the goal of that was to have 1 uninsulated wire per layer that would ultimately attach to the Arduino and be grounded. And then for the 16 anode legs, we had a 370 ohm resistor per anode leg, and we connected that in series through our copper, our circuit board actually, and ultimately we were left with 16 anode wires and 4 cathode wires. And luckily we had enough ports on our Arduino. We needed a total of 20 ports, and that required 20 jumper wires. We had 16 anode legs, and for our Arduino we used each port to supply power to each column, and then so that the power was run through the resistor to the anode, and then after going through the LED, it would be grounded by our 4 additional cathode legs that we had initially included. And just a small thing, but we also added a photo shield to our Arduino, and that was just to give us the ability, if we wanted to solder our jumper cables to the Arduino just for more stability. We decided to just use male and female jumper wires just because it allows more flexibility in changing up the wiring. And yeah, that sums up our hardware.
Alright, and so for the software, we decided to map our cube onto a 3D Cartesian plane, the X, the Y, and the Z axis. And the way it works is that we made 2 arrays, 1 array for each column of the LEDs, going from 1 to 16 columns. And then we made another array for each layer, which is the first, second, and third, fourth layer. And the way it works is that if you wanted to, let's say, flash A1 LED, you would have to turn on the layer corresponding to that pin, which basically what you would have to do is digital write the corresponding layer, and 0, which represents low, which allows you to ground the common cathode in all the LEDs in that layer. And then after that, you would also write digital write the corresponding column, which will, and theoretically, it should light up the whole column, but since we only grounded 1 layer, only 1 LED in that column will light up.
Yeah, so essentially grounding a layer just basically activated the layer, which allowed for us to then turn on any LED within that layer that was turned on. And now we would do demonstrations.
Can we turn off the lights?
Do you want, yeah, there's the buttons. Oh, on the side?
I think that might be the third step, so thank you.
No, that's
Oh.
the projector.
The top one is turn on all.
It's not working.
Yes, we can.
Hold on, let's get it.
And here it is.
It takes a while. Okay, there it is. And so we just use basic for loops to iterate through each column and layer to light up individual LEDs to make certain patterns.
Sorry, can you close the door?
And we just basically made a bunch of patterns with the cube.
And here is just running through a loop of 3 patterns that we just looked into.
First time it's continuing a while. Okay. There.
Are those all the patterns, or?
Oh, no, it was just the one pattern, but the loop kind of went too long than expected.
I think this loop turned off everything, so that's why there's a pause.
Did you guys try experimenting with the different speeds it would run the patterns at?
We haven't. It's, yeah.
So just to understand, when you're drawing these guys, are you turning on just one plane of LEDs at a time? Are they time multiplex?
No, we're not.
There's no time multiplexing,
Yeah.
it's actually direct addressing. Okay.
Yeah.
But only one LED at a time?
We have the ability to have on multiple layers at once, and then multiple LEDs at once too.
Got it, okay.
Alright.
All right, thanks.